So what have I learned from the second day of my 14-day fast? Hey, Jason here. If you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me go around the southern region of Africa. But most importantly, you've been seeing me talk about the three areas of life that I focus on the most, which is happiness, health, and wealth. And so today I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about, give you a little bit more detail, just what has day two of a 14-day fast been looking like, because I feel like there's a lot of people out here that are trying fast. There's a lot of people that's doing fast, but they just don't really have a complete understanding of it. And I think there's a lot of misinformation out here about fast. And so I just wanted to share with you my story, how I'm doing it, and why I'm doing it, and what I'm learning from it. And so let's go ahead and dig into today's video. So if you're new to the channel, I'm actually doing a 14-day fast up until January 1st. I feel like this is a great way to bring in the new year, and it's a great way to actually harness my energy, send out the prayers and the vibrations that I want for the things that I want for 2024. And I've been journaling those in my journal, my 2024 planner. I've been planning it out. However, now I'm gonna be honest with you before I go far. I'm gonna be honest. I've done fast before. This isn't my first time in it. However, when if you talk to anybody who's done a fast, every time you start a new fast, it's day one. So whenever you challenge yourself and fast again, you're actually starting over as a brand new person. And this is one of the biggest misconceptions. A lot of people think like, oh, well, I've done it before. It's going to be easy and simple. That's not necessarily true. Um, it's all about consistency, routine, and discipline, to be honest with you. And so today, day two was a little bit of a challenging day. However, I put things in place to make sure that I couldn't falter or fail at day two. And so, what do I mean by day two has been a little bit of a difficult day? Meaning, I'm starting to catch some of the food addictions coming to me, and it's funny seeing them now. As someone who's done a long-term fast, I've done up to 32 days without eating any food, just consuming water and herbal teas. Seeing what how today perspired, it was really interesting, to be honest with you, from a psychological point of view. One of the things that I started seeing is the paradigm. If you're someone who followed Bob Proctor, he talks about the paradigm a lot, which is a set of habits which are habitually a set of things that we do habitually without us having to think. And most of us live our lives on a habitual pattern, meaning we don't have to think about too much of our day to day. One of the things, if you change up your routine or if you do something such as stop eating, you're changing up your habitual day, meaning your body is missing the mouth movements or just the regular patterns of wanting to eat. This is what muscle memory is. Muscle memory is paradigm, meaning you're doing something because it's programmed inside of the body. You've done it enough times, the body can do it on its own. Do it on its own, such as tying your shoes, putting on your pants. If you look at a young child who's first learning to tie their shoes, it's horrible. It's horrible. Everything they're doing, they're struggling, they're thinking so much about it. But you as an adult, you're not thinking about how to tie your shoes up. You just go, you do it. You might even be on the cell phone. You might be doing two or three other things while you're doing it. But once you start challenging that paradigm by doing something opposite, the paradigm is going into not fight or flight, but it's going actually into freeze. We all know about fight or flight, but most of us don't talk about freeze. Freeze is where it tries to stop. It tries to keep you in place so you don't keep moving towards the path you're going, even if it's something that's better for you. So, give you a prime example, when I was 300 plus kilograms or well over 600 plus pounds, the paradigm was telling me I need to eat cheese. Oh, you need to eat this fried food. Oh man, go eat that piece of chicken. Go eat this. One bite will not hurt you. You know, it'll make your body feel better. And I say that now because I truly understand what the paradigm and how it works, where it freezes you. And the reason why I say it freezes you is because it starts you back over from where you are. Like, the way to get success in the areas of life that you want, you have to create the momentum. You have to create the repetitions of doing it. And the more consecutive you are doing it, the more likely you are to be successful and faster you're going to be successful. But what the paradigm does is tries to freeze us to keep starting us back on day one, day one, day one. If you're someone or you know someone who struggles with weight loss, who does New Year's resolutions every year, saying this is going to be the year that I do it, this is going to be the year that I do it. The reason they're not doing it is their paradigm is freezing. Their paradigm is telling them, you know what, a cheat day right here is going to be too bad. You know what, this little bit ain't going to hurt you. What's a little bit? You used to eat a lot. I can say this because I used to tell this to myself. I remember the voices in my head and how I used to talk to me. And now seeing, as I study more about psychology of myself, and remember, psychology is a study of life. The only person that can study your life is you. Like the only person that can study my life is me. And so always remember that. And always study your habits, study your patterns. Try to understand who you are and how you move in this world. And start challenging yourself. You don't have to be perfect, but you want to be better. And that's one of the things I always strive to do is better. And so to be a better version of me for 2024, I want to go into 2024 with 14 days of no eating and just focus all of my energy and see, hey, what is 2024 going to look like after that? I feel like it's going to look great. I see great things coming. And so this is why I'm doing it. Now, what did I learn from my paradigm kicking in this stage of doing the 14-day fast in day two? So today I noticed that like my jawline was hurting. Even right now, I still have like a little bit of pain in my jaw. And is my jaw really hurting? No. What it is the paradigm is sending energy throughout my muscles of my mouth. And it's saying, yo, you haven't eaten anything today, man. You're going on almost 48 hours with no food. Like, you need to chew, you need to eat something. It's trying to protect me, but it doesn't understand that I don't need that. And this is where we have our free will. We can consciously override our paradigm. A cat will always be a cat, a dog will always be a dog. But you can be anybody that you want to be. You can be successful, you can be unsuccessful, you can be fat, you can be skinny, you can be in great shape of your life, you can be in the worst shape of your life. But it's all about you controlling your paradigm and using your free will to do it. And this is the beautiful thing about this, and this is what I'm loving about it this go around is I'm really seeing how the chemicals in food, we're not aware of a lot of this stuff. There's addictions. Like so many of us, when we hear the word addiction, we think of that movie show of somebody on drugs or that raging alcoholic in the family. But we all have addictions. And food addictions is one of the biggest addictions that most of us actually have. How many people have I ran into? Oh man, I wish I could get healthier, but I'm not stopping eating. I'm not going to stop eating this just to get healthy. That's an addiction. And so like now, how I'm seeing how the paradigm can use muscle memory. It can start creating pain in certain areas of your muscle just to give you the memory of, hey, you might want to eat. And you would think that if your jaw started hurting, you wouldn't think about food. But you know what the first things, images that was coming through my mind? It was food images. And when I started correlating those two together, I started journaling a little and I started realizing like, yo, this is powerful. Like if this just from day two, it's already creating a little bit of so-called pain in my jaw. And the pain in my jaw isn't making me not want to eat. It's creating pictures in my mind to eat. What else have I not caught? And also like how much chemicals, what are the addictive things that's in the food that we're eating? Now for me, I like to consider myself mainly whole food plant-based. However, I've been eating a vegan diet for the last 2 years. I'm going to be completely honest. After CC passed away, I dropped back down to a vegan lifestyle, and not a healthy vegan lifestyle. I went more to processed vegan. And this is something I really don't like to eat, but it's addictive, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like even right now, like I could tear up like one of the curry mushroom pies, or there's another type that they have that the Fries brand sell here in Africa, and well, at least in the southern region, and it tastes really delicious. But you know what? It's full of chemicals. When you read the back label, it's full of processed ingredients. And one of the things that I said I want to do for 2024 is I want to get off a lot of these processed ingredients. I want to quit eating potato chips all the time. I want to quit eating a bunch of junk food. Like I want to get back to that healthy Jason that I was in Colombia before I left. And one of the ways to do that is overcome the addiction. Now, the beautiful thing is, which is making this easier for me, is since I'm just now moving to Zambia, I've literally been in the country, I think 3 or 4, no, 4 days now. Today is day 4. Like, I don't have a refrigerator. Man, I'm getting to that. I don't have a refrigerator in the house right now. And I consciously decided not to buy one until next month because I said, you know what? Maybe me not having this refrigerator is a good thing. Maybe me not having a TV as a distraction is a good thing right now. Maybe me not having all the luxuries of making this my home yet is a good thing because maybe I need to do some healing and do some self love on myself. And so I feel like it gave me the opportunity to do this fast and make the fast a lot easier for me because sometimes you need whatever advantage you can take. And I know for me, like I don't want to order food, eat a little, and then it's just sitting out all day, and then I'm gonna have to throw it out. And so it's keeping it easier for me to just, you know what, hey Jason, like you're gonna do this 14 days. So day 2 was I don't want to say it was a breeze. It was enlightening, seeing how the addictions work, understanding how it's utilizing the addictions kind of haywire, not haywire, but hotwire the ego. And if you remember, or if you've seen it in my previous videos when I'm talking about the ego, I believe the ego has been miscategorized for too many years. And it's now time for us to understand what the ego truly is. If you listen to teachings such as Reverend Ike, who teaches amazing stuff about the self image, and then if you match that with some of Dr. Joe Dispenza's stuff, where he's teaching you how to become the observer or how to utilize the observer, the great observer, for your advantage. What I believe, if you marry those two together, that is the actual ego. The self image is who we are, the image that we form, but it's looking up on, it's observing the ego, which is the energy generator observatory, meaning it's putting the energy into motion. We have to observe that energy going into motion. And seeing that now and like understanding and getting those pictures in my head of how I was having a little muscle pain here in my jaw, but yet pictures of food was going around in my head, in my mind. I was like, whoa, this is deep. Addiction literally hijacks the ego. It hijacks not only the ego, but the self image also. It forces the self image to only observe that one thing instead of the self image observing, like, how am I going to look at the end of this? How am I going to feel at the end of this? Are my joints going to be even better? Am I going to be running a lot easier? Am I going to be moving easier? Am I going to be smaller? Like those little things that I should be observing. Instead, I was observing food. And so I'm sharing this with you because, like, I want you to see, like, this is what it looks like. This is some of the challenges of fasting. I think a lot of people make it seem like it's too easy. Like, oh, I fasted for 7 days. Oh, I fasted for 40 days. Guys, that's spiritual work. You're really connecting and becoming in tune with yourself spiritually. This is why most religions operate some type of fast one way or another. And so I wanted to share that with you, but also I felt like it was a very good way to show you, like, I really believe the ego has been miscategorized. We need to understand what the ego is. And I think one of the best ways of physically seeing how I'm explaining the ego is if you watch the new TV show called Quantum Leap. It's a remake of the original show from the 80s, I believe, or early 90s. Um, Such a great show. I used to watch it with my grandmother all the time. We used to love it, watching Scott Bakula, I believe was the actor's name. But now they've redone it. And it's such a great show because it's really giving you that physical image of what the ego looked like. If you see how whoever is the person that's guiding him, or in the original Quantum Leap, it was Al. But the person now, because there's different people that do it now, they are representing the self-image. It's a hologram. And the reason why there can be different people is you can change your self-image to observe however you want to observe something. And what they're doing, they're actually observing. I don't think his name's Sam. I can't remember. The original guy name was Sam. I can't remember his name on the new show. They're observing him as he's leaping from body to body. He's going through different periods of history. And I think that is truly what the ego is. We're supposed to build our self image of who we want to be at that time or in the future. And we use that self image to observe the energy and make that energy form into place or allow the energy to form into place of who we want to become. And so I just wanted to share that with you today. I felt like that was today's day 2 was a very enlightening day. I'm really interested to see how day 3 is going to be. Funny thing, I haven't left the house yet because I didn't want to make myself just be so busy that I forget to eat. I wanted to become aware of it's my choice of not eating. But tomorrow I think I'm gonna leave the house, go pick up some ice so I can throw some ice in the cooler and have a little bit of cold water. But if you have any questions about how I do my fast, why I'm doing fasting, and what fasting apps I use, just ask me down below. But also make sure you follow me on TikTok at Jason Chaney 777. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet here on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you can start seeing videos of what does Lusaka Zambia look like. Also, what are some of the vegan, vegetarian / restaurants that's here? How am I eating here? How am I coping with living in Lusaka, Zambia now? And most importantly, just remember this. I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.